Imagine your production going beyond the stage and broadcast live to thousands of viewers across the nation. Welcome to WBS Theatre. The WBS Television Theatre is fully equipped with modern light, sound, broadcasting and recording equipment. Everything you need for quality production is in place. The WBS Television Theatre has played host to a number of national forums, school events and theatre productions, among others. Our theatre booking terms and prices are very convenient and flexible. Book today and enjoy a discount. Visit the WBS Theatre today, located at WBS House Nakuru. For more information, call 0414 344 313-4.
Basajja bangi tebazaala balina ensonga zaabwe weewaawo nti ziyinza obutafaanana
obukalube
ndolaba ebyokuzaala ebyo bifuuse byakwegayirira nnyo ekisuuse bwekwate bulye mu bungi emmere eyingiza nnyo kati
kwegamba amatooka agaveeko abeere ng'ali ku bukupa mukyala yabulya tulikola okuva mu miti ebikoola n'ebimera kube yaffe yanjawulo nga badisitiringa omwenge.
You are watching WBS TV.
March 25th. Good evening and welcome to WBS Prime News Live. First of all, we'll take a look at what's making headlines. And of course, coming up in the news, the new Attorney General wants public officers to pay compensation for the decisions they make. Uganda Police confirms the terror threat on Uganda. We'll as well be looking at 80 NRM members of parliament who work in cars and homes as the outgoing chief whip reveals. As well as in sports, we'll look at the Uganda Olympic Committee planning more sports management courses to be able to help the coaches right here in Uganda. Welcome once again to WBS Prime News Live. I'm Mildred Tohaise. Now let's take a look at the news in detail. Attorney General Frederick Ruhindi says all ministries whose officials act in negligent manner that leads to award of court compensations will have to meet the costs other than the usual practice of throwing it to the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs. Speaking shortly after the Appointments Committee of Parliament approved this appointment, Frederick Ruhindi also revealed that he has proposed to the judiciary that they come up with sentencing guidelines to ensure uniformity of compensation awards in similar cases. Joseph Sabiti reports.
What was first sounded by High Court Judge Lawrence Kidudu at the launch of the Human Rights Report of 2014 a few days back appears headed for implementation after new Attorney General Frederick Ruhindi made it clear that every government department that lets its officers lead to award of huge costs in compensation will carry their own cross.
Does for compensation flow from complaints against state agencies that violated his rights or the rights complained of? I wish to propose that the budgets of the respective agencies that violate the victim's rights be used to pay compensation instead of the Ministry of Justice.
These people who occasion damage to the government, okay, like officers who in the course of their duty become negligent and the government is taken to court through the office of the Attorney General and the court awards damages, that ministry where that person works should pay those damages.
Speaking shortly after the Appointments Committee gave him a nod of approval to assume the office of the Attorney General, he also revealed that he has proposed to the judiciary a review of criteria used to award compensation in court.
I have requested that that team which worked on sentencing guidelines also develops guidelines to guide courts to come out with guidelines, particularly in consultation with us, Ministry of Justice, and Uganda Law Reform Commission, to develop guidelines to provide some level of uniformity in more or less similar cases to award damages within the same range.
He says this is aimed at creating uniformity in award of compensation by courts of law.
Court awards, interest rates being awarded, sometimes 12%, sometimes 25%, sometimes 6%. And then you find there are so much variance. Because of course we appreciate that the judiciary has got its discretion to determine, depending on the level of the gravity of the matter, what to award. But there should be some guidance.
Ruhindi is known to have disagreed with his former boss, Peter Nyombi, after he refused to appeal the award of 13 billion shillings to city lawyer Severino Tino Businje. The committee also interfaced with Makerere University Don, Professor Tikodri Tagboa, who assumes the office of the State Minister for Higher Education. To him, the curriculum used in schools requires an overhaul.
I would have loved to see a situation where you do not actually drop any subject until you have left A level. What that means, it would prepare you as a whole person.
It remains to be seen if the proposals will be adopted by the implementing agencies. Sabiti Joseph, WBS Television, Parliament.
Now we ask, what is your view on the decision by the Attorney General to have reckless public officers pay compensation for themselves? Once again, what is your view on the decision by the Attorney General to have reckless public officers pay for compensation themselves? That is our opinion poll tonight, and you can have your say by simply going to Facebook on our page at www.facebook.com/WBS TV Uganda. Drop a comment right there, and as we get along with the bulletin, we'll definitely sample some of your reactions. In more news, the Uganda police confirms information on the terror threat on Uganda is credible, and the force says they have boosted deployment in most parts of the country. This follows reports Thursday morning that the American embassy had warned its workers to be on alert because of the threat. According to the police spokesperson for Kampala Metropolitan, Patrick Onyango, he says the force is prepared for anything, urging the public to be on the watch out and report anything suspicious.
Yesterday, we got signals from intelligence that terrorists are planning to attack us, are planning to hit us, especially places where foreigners frequent, places like shopping malls, places of entertainment, hotels, and the rest. But when we got this information, we did only deploy in these places because they might say that they are going to those places and yet they are going other places. So we have deployed strategically and where we know that the local community gather in large numbers, where we know that foreigners also gather in large numbers. So we have deployed strategically and adequately. They are both uniformed and non-uniformed officers in these places. There are those who are gathering intelligence, there are those who are there to provide security just in the form of uniform, and we are there.
I heard you say about you have maintained peace in Somalia.
As we do this, as we put in countermeasures to counter the terrorists, We also call upon members of the public to be cautious. Be cautious, be suspicious of whatever. If you see a stranger in your area, please alert us. If you see an abandoned object, or a suitcase or anything, please alert us.
Now, two families braved the long distance from Zimbabwe district to join the Member of Parliament in Kampala seeking for audience with the President, the Speaker of Parliament and Police Chief General Kale Kaihura after they failed to see those they suspect of killing their loved ones face trial. The families accuse one Emmanuel Kamuhingo, the LC3 chairperson in the area of residence, of being behind the murder of 28-year-old Jonan Katunga and the assault of one Jovans Kekitenderezo, who is fighting for her life in hospital after she was attacked.
Ebyo byebigambo byagatte ebirala nteekako biriwo.
The tears of a mother whose 28-year-old son met a brutal end after he was reportedly beaten to death in an event the family alleges was masterminded by their area LC3 chairperson, Juan Emmanuel Kamuhingo.
Katunga Jonan was murdered in cold blood.
The same individual, who is allegedly well connected, is also alleged to have masterminded the beating close to death of another member of the community who is still fighting for life in hospital.
They intend to see the DPP with the fact that they want their case to be pursued. There shouldn't be crime without punishment. Let them come up and tell us whether some people are too big and others cannot be apprehended.
They allege that efforts to bring the culprit to book have been frustrated by what they call his connections in police and the Directorate of Public Prosecutions.
Impunity cannot go unpunished. One cannot hide under any political color to commit such heinous crimes and they go unpunished. This is the reason the NRM came to power. And it shouldn't be the reason for the NRM to look on, because the path, the fate that befell other regimes will soon catch up with us.
The aggrieved families are now seeking audience with the head of state to put to him questions as to why justice cannot be secured for their relatives whose spirits, they say, cry for justice. The accused could not be reached for comment by press time. Sabit Joseph, WS Television, Parliament.
Former State Minister for Fisheries Ruth Nankabirwa assumes her new office as Government Chief Whip from the now Secretary General of the National Resistance Movement, Kasule Lumumba. While handing over office, the former Chief Whip tipped her on a backlog and warned her of possible challenges as the party gets set for the upcoming general elections. She now takes over an office that is meant to supervise over 80 members of parliament who have no seat in offices but conduct parliamentary work in their homes and vehicles.
The rules of procedure for the parliamentary caucus.
The handover ceremony that was presided over by the third Deputy Premier, Moses Ali, shocked the many on hearing that the former Chief Whip had been supervising over 80 members of Parliament with no physical offices to conduct parliamentary business. According to the former Chief Whip, Nankabirwa takes up a challenge of finding clear addresses for those members of Parliament.
So everybody would have loved to have his or her own office and more, like a leader, but you find members sharing, which is also sometimes not good for you as the government chief whip, because some members don't take it lightly. And we still have some members of parliament, 8 of them, who still have their offices in their vehicles and in their homes.
Lumumba, however, offered to give the new House Whip all the support where necessary and advise her to work for the unity of members and the party.
It's not easy, but what you have to do, even if one is more senior to you in terms of age and experience and education, you have to be the chief whip. Don't allow anybody to be a chief whip. You have to be the chief whip yourself.
Handing over the office of Chief Whip to come in, and we want to say we wish the outgoing again once success to her, but we shall also follow her there.
While you were away, Madam Secretary General, I was received by the team you left behind. They have assisted me to continue without feeling a vacuum, to continue with the work of the government chief whip in Parliament.
Justin Kasule Lumumba is leaving the position to become full-time Secretary General of the ruling party NRM after the party approved reforms that bar top leaders in the party from holding another position in government.
One of the confessed bomb attackers who pleaded guilty to the charge of having participated in the July 2010 terror attacks has been put to task to explain how he entered Uganda and also how he acquired the Ugandan passport. Mahmoud Mugisha, who has just completed his 5-year sentence in Luzira prison, was being cross-examined by the defense legal team led by Caleb Alaka, in which he told court that the Al-Shabaab had no stringent restrictions on individuals joining the Al-Shabaab.
Defense lawyer started by asking Mahmoud Mugisha how he entered Uganda, in which he said he used a panya, not the border checkpoints. This happened as security was tightened at Kampala High Court Criminal Division. Mahmoud Mugisha was speaking Kinyarwanda during cross-examination led by defense lawyer Caleb Alaka before High Court Judge Owinyi Dolo. Mugisha admitted to have forged citizenship to get a Ugandan passport. Mahmoud Mugisha, who could not remember any of the names for the sheikhs and imams who inducted him both in Islam and terrorism training, revealed to court how he was converted to Islam while at Nakivule camp. At some point, the lawyer was forced to put him to pressure and stop taking things as a joke that he couldn't remember everything to do with identifying personalities. Gisha says he entered Uganda in 1998 and started learning Luganda, Swahili and Arabic language at Ubai, one of the madrasa schools at Mulago, and later at Ubai Bwebaja before he joined another school identified as Hazard in South Africa. He took everybody by a surprise when he said the Al-Shabaab had no restrictions on who joins them, as they could just welcome anybody as a member.
Where did you get the other names?
He revealed that he was given a Paswado name, Muhammad, which he was not bound to reveal to anybody unless apart from his bosses. Mugisha had earlier revealed to court how the likes of Isa Ahmed Luima, Hussein Hassan Agate, Muhammad Ali and Hassan Habib underwent jihadist training in Somali towns such as Kismayo and Barawe. Other suspects include Edris Magondu, Sulaiman Hija Nyamandono, Muhammad Aden Abadowa, Omar Awad Omar, Muhammad Ahmed Sulaiman, Yahya Sulaiman Mbuthula, Sulaiman Njoroge, Hassan Haruna Luima, Muzafaru Luima, Abeka Batematio and Dr. Ismail Kalule. The judge reserved Tuesdays, Wednesdays and Thursdays for hearing of this suit. These were whisked back to Luzira till 31st March 2015 for further cross-examination.
And well, now I take you back to our opinion poll question tonight, and we are asking, what is your view on the decision by the Attorney General to have reckless public officers pay for compensation? themselves. And talking a few of your responses right here on Facebook. This is Chantel Denzer Izaguire, who says, he is more than right. With this, we can have that money put to good use. Samatengo Abubakar says, indeed, I welcome it. That will make them to exercise maximum care while discharging their duties. As well as NB Hillary, who says, it's the best idea. Have you heard that what Uhuru told Kenya? We got to be extremely strict. Well, you can as well be a part of this discussion by simply going to our Facebook page at WBS TV Uganda. Drop a comment right there, and as we get along with the bulletin, we'll sample some more of your reactions. But for now, let's take a break, return with more stories. But first, let's have a reminder of our top stories. New Attorney General wants public officers to pay compensation for decisions they make. Uganda police confirms another terror threat on Uganda. ATNR members of Parliament work in cars and homes as revealed by the outgoing Chief Whip.
Do you recall the last time garbage in your neighborhood was collected? Have you ever experienced garbage spillage trails along your road? Now that will be history. Spear Motors brings you a hygienically safe and labor-efficient garbage compactor truck. Unlike ordinary garbage trucks, this garbage compactor truck completely covers the waste and carries 20 tons of garbage. There is 0% spillage and much fewer trips to the dumping site. The garbage compactor truck is a self-loader. Only 2 men are required for the whole operation. Local authorities and private garbage collectors, the garbage compactor truck is now available at Spear Motors, Nakawa.
Hey, let's do it.
Load the airtime knowing it's easy. You get it all back with Chizzy. All the airtime you spend, Chizzy. At the end of the month, Chicho, Chizzy. 1K, 2K, 5K, Chizzy. 10K, 20K, 30K. Chizzy. Airtime you spend is funded. Talk and talk with Chizzy. Chicho, Chicho, Chicho. Uganda Telecom's got something.
Get back your airtime with Chizzy from Uganda Telecom. Dial star 100 hash, select Chizzy and get the total amount you spend in a month refunded. This refund can be used for calls and SMSs to all networks for the next 30 days from Uganda's most affordable telecom service. Uganda Telecom. It's all about you.
Well, let's tunda. Think you have nothing to sell? Look around your home. You'll find something you don't use anymore that you can sell on OLX.
Simply download the OLX app, take a photo of the item you want to sell, post it on OLX for free, meet the buyer and tunda! OLX, everything sells.
Welcome back and thank you so much for staying with us. It's still a WBS Prime News Live. Taking a look at more of the stories on a very positive note, the Uganda Cancer Institute has been selected as the East African Community Center for Excellence in the Diagnosis and Treatment of Cancer. Uganda Cancer Institute, which has been a national referral in the management of cancer, will now turn into a regional referral hospital for Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, Tanzania, and Burundi.
Following Uganda Cancer Institute's good performance in cancer care, treatment and research carried out since the 1950s, the East African community has selected the institute to house an oncology institute. Part of what the institute will do as an oncology center is to train specialists in cancer handling and research on non-communicable deadly diseases. Christine Namulindwa is the publicist of the institute.
Uganda Cancer Institute was the only cancer treatment center in the East African region. We've had major groundbreaking achievements that no other cancer center in the world has had. For example, in the Uganda Cancer Institute, it's where the combination chemotherapy treatment was discovered here in the Uganda Cancer Institute. And it's also in Uganda Cancer Institute where the first description of infection-related cancers in the whole world was made.
The decision to select the Uganda Cancer Institute is based on its history and track record. The selection, however, comes on the heels of increasing number of cancer cases in the region, with the institute alone handling over 200 cases per day.
That shows how much the cancers are increasing. And of these patients that we see, say if we have a diagnosis of 10,000 patients, we see a survival rate of 20%.
The Center of Excellence, worth $40 million, is to be financed by a loan from the African Development Bank and is due for completion in the next 2 years. And all cases of the cancer from the region will then be referred to Uganda. Cancer is an emerging public health problem in Africa. About 715,000 new cases and 542,000 cancer deaths occurred in 2008 on the continent, with these numbers expected to double in the next 2 years, simply because the aging and growth of the population. Harris Tembo, WBS, Kampala.
Well done, Harris. Now, for the last 2 weeks, the throne of the Omukama Oyo Nyimba Kabamba Iguru Rukidi IV of Toro has been threatened, checked on by Prince David Kijanangoma, whom he accused, who accused the Omukama of incompetence and keeping himself away from the kingdom. He is also accused of seeking refuge here in Buganda Kingdom, where he owns a parallel palace, and the Queen Mother accused of selling property of the kingdom, among them some Milo land of the kingdom, to an investor. In our interactive news segment tonight, Timothy Sibasi hosts Professor Kajabagu Karusoke, who is among the elders in Toro Kingdom and the presidential advisor on history, to analyze whether Prince David Kijanangoma's points for the cause of action are valid.
Well, with me on the set, he is Professor Kajabagu Karusoke, a presidential advisor on history. He is a Pan-Africanist. Tonight, he's here to share with me what is playing on in the Toro Kingdom. It's now like a worm-eaten house. The throne of Omukama Oyo Nyimba Kabamba Iguru has been threatened by a Prince David Kijanangoma. Thanks for joining me, Professor. What do you make of the current running battles between Prince David Kijanangoma attacking the throne of Omukama Oyo Nyimba Kabamba Iguru?
I've been told that the Omukama does not stay in Toro, and that he's more or less in a kind of mild exile in Kampala, in Buganda, under another kingdom. So that has come to hurt some people in Toro. That was one reason I was told that there is a kind of disappointment concerning Toro Kingdom. Another complaint I've heard has been that the mother of Omukama does not welcome the princes and princesses in the palace properly. The absence of Omukama and the lack of being properly welcomed by the mother has caused a kind of negative feelings concerning the Batoro, who are very much concerned with what a kingdom should be in Toro, or on behalf of Toro.
On the notion that is being raised by Prince David Kijanangoma that Omukama Oyo Nyimba Kabambiguru has abandoned his kingdom. He has come, in other words, in political science, which people would say that he has sought for refuge in Buganda kingdom. Does this make sense?
I would not really say it is refuge to Uganda, but I would imagine that he's a young man and staying in Toro would be very lonely for him. Maybe Kampala, bigger than Fort Portal, would be more entertaining for him than Fort Portal. But since he is Omukama, who's supposed to be illustrating a kind of royal image to his people, he should be in Toro, Kabarole Palace. But when he needs visiting Kampala, I think he has the right to come to Kampala. But then when people there also feel they want him and they really need him as a royal image, they are right.
He has got enough exposure than any common Mutoro youth. He has lived in London for quite some good time. He has had the best education. Many feel that he is in position to guide the disgruntled youth in Toro.
In my way of understanding what the situation is, I think he has got some kind of middle education. And with age, he doesn't have mature age actually to address the kind of maturity the Toro Kingdom has. You see, you understand what I mean by maturity. Elders, some professors there, the population as a whole, from the young to the old. I think his age doesn't properly fit there. In terms of age and academic status, much as I sympathize with his level of education, I would suggest that why not have him go out again for further education so that he can have a wider scope of how he can describe what we call society in social science. Does he understand society, and can he differentiate that from ordinary community?
But I do believe that now that is what is causing friction, because people feel back home that this person has been kept away from the kingdom to understand the norms of the land, to understand his tradition, what his subjects need. And that I do believe that is the point of Prince David Kijanangoma.
So now there, when you consider that, I would suggest that we talk to Akiki, the mother, so that she allows, that is, if it is true that she doesn't allow, she does not entertain fully or as required the princes and princesses to visit the palace in the way they would otherwise have wanted. Akiki should also be advised that people want more of this young man than she thinks they have had him or he had had them. That's one. Akiki should be more flexible. That's my advice. The mother should be more flexible. That is, if she has not been flexible.
The Queen Mother, she's so evasive. She's so arrogant. She does not take the advice of the old man of the clan. She feels she's the Alpha and Omega. And that's what you have lived for many years to see Toro Kingdom grow up. Did you see this happen? Did you foresee that this would happen?
I am saying that I have not seen Akiki, the mother, doing this. I am saying, hypothetically, that if this is what has been happening, what the Batora say, this should stop. And she should revise her method of work as to how she should welcome the princes and princesses and the other commoners in the palace, to harmonize, to bring about a kind of mutual harmony in the kingdom.
To whom do you blame for this dilemma?
I'm not really in a position to blame, but what I'm saying is I am being hypothetical, because all this has been brought to me through the mass media, through some friends who say this is wrong, this is right.
When you look at
Then
her,
another point
when you look
is-
at her, Professor, do you see a person in her who can easily be brought down to order?
Well, I have not been looking at her recently, but I'm saying that if that is what has been talked about her is really what she's doing, then she should look into her personality to revise what what she has been doing, so that she adjusts herself to bring about friendship in the kingdom.
Whom would you blame for the half-baked information that Omukama Oyo Nyimba Iguru is in possession of now?
I'm not really in a position to condemn. I would like to assess and examine, you see, and then suggest what the solution should be. And that's my attitude, because I think the young man might be feeling lonely remaining in Toro that way. In that case, therefore, he should be given a chance to go for further education, but as you have also suggested, he should also be given a chance to have more and more visits to the countryside, acquaint himself with the countryside, and begin to understand what the people mean.
The other issue that we would like to know from you, that has been raised by Prince David Kijanangoma, is the issue to do with the sale of kingdom assets, land, by the Queen Mother. What do you make of this?
I personally do not know the types of assets that have been sold, at how much, to whom. But the rumors I've heard have been that she has sold some Mayo land. In my opinion, after all, which was Mayo land in Uganda means a bribe, which was used by the British colonialists to bribe kings to become colonial prefects politically.
Well, let's tunda. Think you have nothing to sell? Look around your home. You'll find something you don't use anymore that you can sell on OLX.
Simply download the OLX app, take a photo of the item you want to sell, post it on OLX for free, meet the buyer, and tunda! OLX, everything sells.
We have dreams. We want to become professional people when we grow up.
I want to be a doctor. I want to dance and sing to make people happy in the world. I want to become a nurse in future. I want to become a teacher. That's why I need good education.
That's why we need a good school.
You see, a good school equals to a better life. Because a violence-free childhood is everyone's right. Raising voice. This is for the magicians,
The ones who make sure you and I are fresh and clean all day long. Amidst all challenges, they toil to make us shine. Every single day, they apply their magic to give us more than we've ever dreamt of. Magic that appeals to our senses. Magic so motherly that little angels can't resist. Only they can do this magic. Magic that makes a big job easy and fun. Buy White Star Magic Premium at any shop or supermarket near you and feel the magic of all day fresh clean.
White Star Magic.
Wava Water, my choice.
Think you have nothing to sell? Look around your home. You'll find something you don't use anymore that you can sell on OLX.
Simply download the OLX app, take a photo of the item you want to sell, post it on OLX for free, meet the buyer, and tunda! OLX, everything sells.
Welcome back, and now in business. Uganda Bankers Association cautions manufacturers and bankers against the presence of fraudsters manipulating bank employees and manufacturers into robbing banks. The association warns any manufacturers caught colluding with the fraudsters of having the doors of each and every bank in the country closed to them, urging manufacturers and bankers to keep their business partnerships strong as the future of business growth.
These fraudsters wear the disguise of exporters, importers, and investors. Their entry into the country has been over the past 9 months, according to Uganda Bankers Association, and they threaten the credibility of banks and the business community.
Today the world is becoming smaller and it is linked. And the objective of every company should be to expand and look beyond immediate markets.
He says that they infiltrate banking systems, stealing bills of lading and costing banks losses in the process.
Bank has capacity to undertake large transactions single-handedly in your expansion phase, in the day-to-day working capital needs, as you grow. And what is important is to have a partner. Banking has shifted away from being just transactional. It has even moved away from just being relational, so that you have relationship managers looking after specific accounts.
He warns manufacturers involved with these fraudsters of being blacklisted from the entire banking system.
Not all solutions, not all finance solutions are available all the time, ready-made in a pack at the shelf of a bank. And meaning that continuously and increasingly, finance solutions, banking solutions, specific expansion needs are structured based on the dialogue that bankers have with manufacturers and traders.
To him, manufacturers and the business community should look beyond the immediate markets and profits and focus on building their credibility and partnerships instead.
We take a short break, and when we return, it will be sports news.
think you have nothing to sell? Look around your home. You'll find something you don't use anymore that you can sell on OLX.
Simply download the OLX app, take a photo of the item you want to sell, post it on OLX for free, meet the buyer, and tunda! OLX, everything sells.
Let your world come alive as you treat your taste buds to the fresh, zesty flavor of new Evervest Bitter Lemon. Evervest Bitter Lemon. Bitter is cool.
Stop chasing bonuses that don't last. Bonga Forever Ever from Uganda Telecom never expires and gives you up to 100% guaranteed bonus every time you load airtime. Simply dial *100#, select Bonga Forever Ever, and talk and text all networks with the bonus that lasts. Get Bonga Forever Ever from Uganda Telecom.
Uganda Telecom, Uganda's most affordable telecom service.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at what's happening in the world of sports. And the Uganda Olympic Committee, with support from the International Olympic Committee, have intensified its sports capacity building by organizing more administration courses with the aim of developing sports in the country. This follows the launch of a second administration sports course at the Uganda Olympic Committee headquarters, Lugogo, as the committee aims at educating sports administrators to the level of a master's degree.
While officially launching the sports administration course at UOC offices in Lugogo, the Assistant Inspector of Police Andrew Sawen explained that police will be the best beneficiary of the course since it will traverse the whole country. Over 200 participants are targeted by Uganda Olympics Committee for the 2015 course, with the aim of educating sports administrators from Kampala, Mbalala, Jinja and Gulu. Sawen explains, besides getting sports administration skills, police will be enjoying community policing since the course is moving in different parts of the country.
If those participants, they over 10,000, you bring them to our side as crime preventers, you can see how much information police can get, and we shall definitely be on top of crime. So it is really, I would like to laud UOC, Uganda Olympic Committee, for inviting us.
Police as an institute contributes a lot to the national team in terms of sports, and to Solomon, there is a need to involve police in such courses. Sports clubs open to the 2015 UOC Sports Administration course with a 3-day certificate level course set for 12 April to 15th at Lugogo, while police get on board later. Uganda Olympics Committee is aiming to empowering all sports administrators with administration skills, moving from certificates to master's degree. Uganda Olympics Committee President William Blick noted that the rampant sports wrangles in the country and funds mismanagement is a result of having non-trained sports personnel.
They enable administrators to effectively and efficiently manage Olympic sports organizations. Our aim is to educate as many sports administrators from across the country so sports in Uganda can be better managed.
Uganda Olympics Committee, led by William Blick, came into power with the mission of changing the tradition of having fewer sports administrators, and only last year 90 were trained, and all were awarded with certificates, diplomas, master's degree come April 2015. Uganda Sports Press Association President Sabit Mwanga has urged all sports tribes to take this chance of learning without a cost and help up on sports disciplines where the wrangles have taken the center stage, besides little performance.
And in the game of football, Sports Club Villa has this evening relieved Sam Simbwa of his duties as head coach for the Uganda Premier team, and Ibrahim Kiria replaces him as the acting team coach. Simbwa had taken over the reign of the club after the club president, Ben Misaga, sacked former coach Stephen Bogere last October, just after 3 games in charge. According to the media release, Simbwa's relationship with the Villa Park faithful had worsened each passing day. A few weeks ago, Simbwa abandoned training at Nachivubo Stadium after the presence of a suspended player, Stephen Bengo, who had disobeyed his orders. This has put him at bay with a section of friends and players who had been critiquing him and of his team selection and training methods. The club management is now planning to announce Simbwa's predecessor soon. Meanwhile, Sports Club Victoria University beat Chidinya 3-1 in the ongoing Uganda Cup playoffs, and Paida Black Angels lose to Bright Stars 0-2 as Bull FC humble Masavo in a 1-0. And that is it we had time for in sports. We'll now take a break, and when we return, it will be a wrap-up of tonight's news.
My name is Musa, your travel agent. I'm taking you around Africa, our motherland, a land gifted with beauty that flows right from Uganda, the Pearl of Africa. Our first destination will be Rwanda, a land of hills and beautiful ladies. Then Tanzania, the home to the great Kilimanjaro mountain. And Kenya, the Masai Mara home. If I may ask, anyone with more exciting sights?
Movitable jelly and Movitable soap.
That shows her love for quality African-made products. In fact, I move with Movit Herbal Jelly too.
My friends and I at Compass all use Movit Herbal products. As in, I even carried mine.
To have a good service, I first bathe with Movit Herbal soap.
See, I gave the right answer. Even at home we use Movitable gel and Movitable soap. Me too.
Movit. All day confidence.
Well, let's tunda. Think you have nothing to sell? Look around your home. You'll find something you don't use anymore that you can sell on OLX.
Simply download the OLX app, take a photo of the item you want to sell, post it on OLX for free, meet the buyer, and tunda! OLX, everything sells.
News Summary is brought to you by
Everybody use Movit's Apple Jelly. Movit is amazing. Movit's Apple Jelly. Movit is the best. Movit, all the confidence.
And Prime News today, new Attorney General wants public officers to pay compensation for decisions they make. Uganda police confirms terror threat on Uganda, charges for vigilance. ATNRM members of parliament work in cars and homes, as outgoing chief whip reveals. Trial of the 2010 July bombing suspects continues as more evidence is produced. On a positive note, Uganda Cancer Institute selected to host Oncology Center. And Uganda Olympic Committee plans more sports management courses.
News Summary is brought to you by
Everybody use Movit's Apple Jelly. Movit is amazing. Movit's Apple Jelly. Movit is the best. Movit, all the confidence.
Thank you very much for sparing us your time to watch WBS Prime News Live. But we've finally come to the end of tonight's edition right here. I'm Mildred Tohaise. Stay tuned to WBS. Have a lovely night and may God bless you.
Up next on WBS TV. Up next on WBS TV.
The Anti-Corruption Coalition, in partnership with Young Leaders Alumni Association and Youth Equality Center, has organized a youth debate under the theme Voters' Bribery-Free Elections, a Future the Youth Desire. Scheduled for the Friday 27th March 2015 at the WBS Auditorium starting from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. The debate shall focus majorly on the impact of voters' bribery on the lives of the youth and shall critically assess the consequences of voters' bribery at several structures and institutions such as local councils, national and institutional governance. For more details, please call 0414-535-659 or 0775-165-801.
More and more people are tundering on OLX. So what are you waiting for? Download the OLX app for free and start selling.
OLX, everything sells.
Muziki Moment is brought to you by
Kenzo, let's go. I'm Casey Popo. Oh, my sexy lady.